Okay. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg on July 3rd, 2022. Which isn't July 3rd, like the actual day of independence or whatever. Am I thinking of something else entirely? Or maybe it's the 5th. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, okay, they voted to approve independence by passing the Lee Resolution on July 2nd. Second day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. Sure. Sure, John Adams. Anyways. We are here. We are playing the Overwatch 2 beta. I paid 40 schmeckles for this. Just because that's sort of what I do. It's been decent. I haven't spent a great amount of time with it or anything. This is probably like my 6th match I'm going into. I like a lot of like the UI changes. Everything seems very slick and clean now. It looks pretty good and modern. Some of the character changes have been interesting. They've removed a lot of like stuns, and they removed May's freeze, which kind of pisses me off, but I think they buffed the damage. You know, it's down to 5 people on a team now, which is I don't know. I guess I don't really notice a difference that much, but I don't play on a competitive level or anything, so it still feels pretty chaotic and stuff. I'm playing in open queue, so you know we can have 2 tanks if we want. You know, they changed tanks around so they're a bit more impactful, because generally there's only going to be 1. So maybe an open queue 2 tanks or something is going to be like a big meta. I have no idea. They removed Brigitte's shield stun, which is a little bit of a bummer. They changed it into a knockback. So now she has 2 knockbacks, which is potentially interesting. Like I said, I just haven't played enough of it to really say what's what. But yeah, I mean, so far it seems decent. I'm looking forward to the PvE content with some buddies. Yep. I am using a new headset, a new microphone. This is the first stream that I'm doing with it. I've recorded a couple videos with it so far that you... who knows when you'll actually see them. Jesus. Alright, hold on. So yeah, I bought a new headset.
Humanity is shackled.
I will tell you the model number in a second.
We're outnumbered.
And I was not really like in the market for a new headset or anything like that. Damn it. Let me just see. Right, so this is the Drop Sennheiser PC38X. Drop Sennheiser, so it's a collaboration between Drop and Sennheiser. PC38X. So yeah, I was not in the market for a new headset because I had this like broadcast headset. that I saw recommended for like different podcasts and things like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it's for broadcasting. It's good, and it has been good. I mean, I've been using it for a number of months now. But it wasn't really designed for gaming. And the more I looked into it recently, I noticed people discussing about how it was really good in, like, noisy environments. You know? It was good for, like, podcasts with multiple people in the room. It was good, you know, in, like, doing, like, live events and things like that. Because it was really good at filtering out outside noise. The thing is, though, for just a single person sitting in a room gaming, there isn't a lot of background noise. I'm not in, like, an apartment in the city or anything like that. I mean, I have a very quiet environment. So I wasn't really benefiting from the main selling feature of the headset. So I don't remember what I was looking at when someone mentioned the PC38X or anything like that. But they mentioned it being good for, like, streaming or something like that. And I was like, okay, let me look more into this. And then, you know, I was looking and basically, yeah, like, every recommendation for, like, a great streaming or anything like that headset, if that's the route you want to go, is PC38X. Now,
Surrender to my will.
most streamers do not use headsets for microphones. They use just, you know, a standalone microphone, and then they use headphones or something to go with it. And that's how I used to do my recordings. But I don't like having a microphone in front of my face like that. Like, obviously, that's what I use for the Exploring series, because you kind of have to. But when I'm just playing a game, I found microphones are either, like, in front of my hands, like by my keyboard where I don't like it, or they're in front of my face where I don't like it. So, since moving on to a headset, I really enjoyed it. Like, it's so just nice and easy. There's just a little microphone in front of my mouth, done. No obstruction whatsoever.
Misery made manifest. Your fate is in my grasp.
So with the PC38X, I saw recommended with it was a DAC, a DAC, a digital audio controller, I want to say. I don't know much about audio. And I had never heard of one of these. It's basically like an external sound card. Plug your headphones into it, you plug your speakers into it, and it just enhances the audio because it handles all the processing. And this one has like 7.1 surround sound, you know. And I was like, I'm skeptical, but let's give it a shot. I'm ordering new headphones, might as well. Man, it is fucking fantastic, let me tell you. I don't know if I could go back to not having it. Like, everything just sounds so good. And this is not even, like, that super high end of a set. These headphones were, like, 170 maybe? 150, one something? The DAC was, like, 150. No, the DAC was 170, and the headphones were 180, sorry. But still, I mean, compared to a lot of setups, it's pretty reasonable, and it sounds just great. There are sound effects that go off sometimes where I feel like they came from a speaker, like, in front of my face. Like, it doesn't even sound like they're coming out of headphones. So, yeah, really good stuff.
Receive my aid. You will be there's a test subject.
Shit.
A taste of poison.
That's bad.
10 seconds. In mere moments we will reign triumphant. Big stanger lap. Your strength becomes mine.
Right. So that's all that. I should also mention that I am currently sitting in my new gaming chair, my new gaming setup. So that will all be talked about at the end of this stream. I have a video. I have another big 20-minute video because I ramble.
Surrender to my will. Your end is within my reach. Help us. A meager sacrifice.
Nice.
Should.
Alright, so this week, this channel, of course, Elden Ring, Fallout 4. Pretty simple. Yesterday we did some more Borderlands 3 on Two Brothers Play. I don't know if we're doing it again next week. We're going to decide. It's either going to be that or Anno 1800 or something else entirely that we don't even know about yet. So that's that. Yeah, I really have to record some more best games of all time. I'm behind on that now. Recorded some more Cataclysm, not a whole lot, just like, yeah, a couple videos or so. And I almost recorded, I started another playthrough, but I didn't quite do that yet. I'm not sure. I actually bought a few roguelike games on Steam during the sale, and I recorded one video for one, and I'd like to just do a couple more standalone videos for the others. So, you know, stuff that I would do on the variety stream, but just as a video. That's about that, I guess. Still nothing big coming out that I need to talk about, or I need to do Let's Plays of. God, I can't aim with this wrist rest. Fuck, I didn't land a single shot. My accuracy, I gotta remove this wrist rest. I can't aim with that. Probably can't aim without the wrist rest. Can't aim for shit. What am I doing? Oh my god. I think it's my posture. We're gonna blame different things. There we go. Come on. God, no. No. Bad. Bad, bad. Don't power me up. Bad, bad, bad. Yeah, so I think that's that. Just business as usual on the Let's Play front.
How you want?
Fuck me! Alright, switch off that. I need to change my posture. That's the problem. It's the entire problem. Alright, let's play Sojourn. She's new.
We're in this together.
Right, over on the other channel, I released part 1 of 8th Commandment, 6488. To much fanfare. Yeah. I mean, people seem to generally like it quite a bit. I like it quite a bit. It's a two-parter. What's not to like?
What's the rush? Time for the reckoning! Build empowered and ready to fight. Disrupting.
No one can hide from my sight.
Why did we not kill that Orisa? So yeah, this week I worked on part 2. It's not quite like 50-50 even split between part 1 and 2. Part 1 was an hour, part 2 is about 45 minutes, but that's close enough. No one's gonna really complain about that. And, yeah, I mean, I will release the combined video at some point. It's unfortunate that that's how that sort of works out. But it's just, I mean, I do separate parts because I can't finish it all in 1 week. That's it. So that's how it is, and that's how it be. So look forward to part 2, the epic conclusion. It's good. It's great SCP. Great SCP about AI. I'm sure there will be plenty of people confused, thinking that it's not over, even though it seems like I definitively end the SCP on part 2. I mean, if I'm doing a big summary of the whole SCP at the end of a video, you should know that that's the end of the SCP. I'm not doing a giant summary of the whole SCP, and then it's like, alright, and next time we're going to continue. It's like, why would I do it that way? People don't think. People just don't think. So that's that. Alright. Yeah, I mean, there isn't much else for me to say, and we have a 20-minute video that I need to show you, so let's just start talking about the chair. Alright, let's talk about the chair. So if you didn't hear when I talked about this number of weeks ago, I decided to order a gaming chair from a company called Imperator Works. And this is not just a chair, it's really like a platform, really. It's a chair connected to a platform, connected to like your built-in keyboard tray, connected to a giant arm, a metal arm that goes from behind your chair up and over in order to hold monitors suspended in front of your face. So it's just an all-in-one gaming setup with built-in speakers and every, cup holders and a footrest, everything you need, all in one. And Imperator Works is not the only company to do this. Sort of all-in-one reclining setup. Some of them I've seen, I think Linus Tech Tips, hold on. Linus Tech Tips covered one that was like fully reclining. Like you laid flat or something like that. Like that's just dumb. That's just dumb. And I think Asus did one where it was they included 3 monitors, they included the computer, they set everything up for you for like 10 grand total. And Linus Tech Tips, God, I've talked a lot today. Linus Tech Tips covered that as well. But Imperator Works it does, a nice chair platform, does include monitors, doesn't include a computer, just, the chair itself. They've got a bunch of different models. I ordered the most expensive. Their cheapest, their most basic one is $3 grand. The IW320. What does that include? It definitely looks more stripped down than the one I have, definitely. But it says it supports up to 5 monitors. It's got the reclining. It doesn't include a lot of like the extra features. It has no speakers, has no massage. Does it even have cup holders? Oh, it does have ashtray and cup holder. A fucking ashtray in 2022? No, not really. That's the same cup holders I have. Okay, I mean, it's pretty similar. It's really not that far off from what I have, but I assume maybe build quality or something, I don't know. There are definitely some features missing. Okay, so that's their cheapest. Then they have one that's $3,600. They have one that's $4,100. They have 2 that are $4,200, and then they have the IWR1 Pro for $4,300. That's the one I got. So, yes, $4,300. It's actually discounted apparently off of $4,500 right now. It came in white or black. I went with white. I mean, it's really just like the outer shell that's white. It's not... They probably both would have been fine. It's either way. And it comes with a either leather chair or a like cloth-covered racing seat. And I went with leather. So yeah, $4,300, made in China, shipped here from China. It's also on Amazon, but I decided to order straight from the company. Whether that was smart or not, hard to say. But, yeah. It took a while to get here. Let me just check when I first ordered from this company. May 16th is when I first ordered. Yep. And it arrived on the 27th of June. So that's, what, 5 weeks? Right? May, yeah, June, yeah. Around about, a little over 5 weeks. They originally quoted me at 6 to 9 weeks, so it was fast. Even with all, the shipping thing troubles going on in the world and stuff out of China. 5 weeks was pretty good. I was happy. So it came on Monday in a giant crate, a wooden crate, which was cool. And it was all like metal bolted together and stuff. It was good. And like Tuesday or Wednesday, me and my dad went out there and we just cracked it open just to see what it was all in there. Very, well packaged, well put together. It was everything was super tied down, and all of, like, the innards were. But I mean, everything on it is just like metal. It's like all metal. The whole package with crate weighed like 520 pounds. It was massive. And then Friday, my nephew came over, and the three of us sort of cut it all open, cut it all down, cut all the ties. And me and my nephew had to carry the two big pieces. It was mainly two pieces. There was the big arm that goes above your head. Hey, Raymond. It was the big arm that goes over your head, and then the other piece was the entire lower platform with the chair, with all the metal, everything, you know. The only thing that wasn't attached was like the keyboard tray, but that's, you know, not very heavy. So the bottom part was insanely heavy. Really, you wanted like 4 people for that, but we had 2. It was very heavy. Luckily, my upstairs is carpeted, so really the only super tough part was just getting up the stairs. Once it was on the carpet up there, you just pushed it. But yeah, it was tough. And then it's just awkward to hold. It has like metal edges on the bottom. Yeah, I mean it was painful, but we got it up here. So I will show you a picture of once we got it up here, and we put the big arm into the back of the chair. So this is a picture of pretty much right after we got the big arm on. There. So yeah, so this is without the armrests on, and this is without the keyboard tray, as well as this doesn't have the front mount for the monitors. So this is just the big arm and stuff. And it's kind of surprising because the big metal arm is only held onto the bottom part with like 6 bolts, you know, just 6 bolts that we screwed in, and that's it. And it's holding quite a bit of weight because the arm itself is super heavy, and the monitors on the front, you know, it can hold up to 50 pounds of monitors. So it's quite a bit. But that was the hardest part, was just getting it all upstairs and then getting this big metal arm onto the back and bolting it on. So that's that. Then let me just see what other images I took. I didn't take that many pictures, and I didn't take a video until it was all done. So okay, we have this image. So this is with the keyboard tray, with the armrests, and with the front monitor mount on. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And most of this stuff I just did myself. You know, it was all just, you know, sort of basic screwing in. They included all the tools and everything. And they gave me a couple videos. I don't know why they sent me 2 videos. One for an older, different model, and then one for this model. I guess because the other video was still mostly relevant, and it was a lot more detailed. It included, like, footage of every step, whereas this model video was shorter and cut out some stuff. But anyways, it really wasn't that complicated. It was just kind of tedious. There was a lot of screwing and unscrewing and all that. It was definitely a lot more little parts to throw on here than I thought. But that's that. And then I have an image of the back panel with all the wiring. So this is behind the thing. And the whole back panel, there's 3 panels that comprise the whole back side of it. So the wiring for all of it includes basically one big power cable that connects the front to the back, so you can power the monitors. And I didn't take a picture of the wiring of the front monitor mount, but has cabling. They asked me what kind of cabling I want. The default was 1 DisplayPort and 2 HDMI, and I said, yeah, that's fine. Ultimately, it did end up being perfectly fine, but I don't know why I said that, because my computer only has 1 HDMI port. But in the end, I only went with 2 monitors, so it's fine. So it has those 3 cables up front, plus the power cable, which connects to a little power strip that they included in the front. It's identical to the power strip you see here. It's like a universal power strip, so it includes European plug ports, and you can also just plug normal American normal, I say. It includes, you can plug anything into it. So all the internal power wiring is all like European plugs or Chinese plugs or whatever. So yeah, all the cabling runs through the big arm and then back to the back panel there. And then you run the DisplayPort HDMI cables out through the little hole and you see on the left side of the image, out of the whole platform that connects to your computer, along with an audio cable for the built-in speakers and a USB cable, which is that blue cable you see there. I don't know what that's for. I still have not figured out what that's for, and I kind of want to just message them, because I don't know what it's meant to be for. It would have to be something that's controlled by your computer or something. I thought there might be like USB ports somewhere just like accessible that you could just plug into. I thought that would be sweet. But I have yet to find any of that, so I'm not sure what it's for. Also in this image are at the bottom with the little multicolored stuff with the grill, that's a step-down transformer for 220 volts to 110 volts. There's also a lot of RGB cabling, but it's all manageable. It's all doable. So yeah, once you're all done with that and you've taken out everything, connected everything, you just screw all the back panels on and you're done with that. And then I have an image of the monitor, or the whole setup almost finished. I didn't finish all like the wiring, and this is with only 1 monitor on, but I got my mom to sit in it. Oh, this is actually, I took this vertically. So I got my mom to sit in it as a pro gamer. So, yeah, this is the overhead view. You got the keyboard tray in there. You got the armrests. I actually found that the seat, it needed a headrest. It needed an extra headrest. Like, your head would just kind of be all the way back if you wanted to lean your head back, and it was just too much. I felt that it needed a headrest. Luckily, I had my Secret Lab chair that comes with the older one has this like strap-on headrest, so I just threw that on there and it works perfectly, so that's great. So yeah, that's that, and then we have the whole finished setup with the 2 monitors, which is here. So this is the thing, all finished. Everything is sealed up. Everything's connected how I want it to be. This is the finished product. So there you go. I think this version can support 3 monitors if you want. Either like 3 27-inch 16:9 monitors, or it can do a 21:9 ultra-wide in the middle with like smaller 16:9s on the side. I ended up going with just the 16:9 on the side. Just one of them. And I'll explain that more in the video. But that's basically it. I have other pictures, but the video is going to be the best summarization. There you go. So, yeah, I'm going to just play the video, and I'll just play an Overwatch match while it goes, because it's like 22 minutes long, because I'm useless without a script.
Alright. Let's get a better look at how this thing functions. This beast. And this beast. Alright. So yeah. 2-monitor configuration. Could support another monitor, here. But I think that would just make getting in even more difficult. And, it's not really great. Also, I don't even know if I have another 16:9 monitor. So I think this is perfectly fine. I mean, you got your big gaming monitor. This is the new Alienware OLED one, so it's fantastic. And then the little side monitor for OBS or chat or videos or, whatever. That's all I need. Yeah, so I'm recording this before Hanging with Mangg, so I don't know what I all mention or what I'm going to talk about in Hanging with Mangg when I ramble on. But yeah, I mean, it's fully set up now, which took quite a while. The room itself is still in disarray. I'm not sure what to do with, like, my old desk setup yet. I'm not quite ready to, like, tear it all down. But yeah, so right, so this arm here, this armrest swings in and out. So this is when you're sitting in there locked in, and then it swings out so you can actually get in and out of the chair easily. So I mean, I'm a big guy, so it's harder than a little skinny person, of course, just like everything else in life. But it's perfectly doable to get in. I don't really have like a selfie stick or something to easily show the process, but you just sort of go in backwards and sit down, and then you're in. It's simple. So then we can lock in, and I went with the leather chair instead of the sort of gaming chair, because obviously, I mean, the gaming chair, it's like a bucket seat they have, and it's a little bit wider than the leather chair, but then in the bucket seat, it sort of is a bucket, so the sides sort of flare up. And so you sort of lose the extra width anyways, because you're meant to sit in between those sort of flares. So why not just have the leather seat and enjoy the leather? So done. All right. So the keyboard tray can go, can go all the way out like that. So you have full, for whatever. And then it comes in, and it's pretty easy to move around when you want to, but when it's here, it stays here. It is a little wobbly, as you can see. Coronet mouse pad not included. They did include this big mouse pad because underneath is just the bare metal, so that's good, but I gotta have the Coronet and Okayu. So it is a little wobbly because it's just mounted right here in the center with like 4 screws. But, I don't, for it to have the full range of motion, I don't know how they could do it where it wouldn't be wobbly without just making it, like, really solid, a big block of iron, but then it would be, harder to move. So it's, it's right in the middle, and, when you're just sitting here gaming or whatever, you don't really notice it wobbling too much. When you're typing, you can feel it sort of bounce a little bit, but whatever. Right, so on the right, in this armrest, you've got 2 cup holders. These are a bit of a bummer, because they're just a metal cup. That's it. They're not secured at all. Perhaps for ease of cleaning or something. But it just means they kind of rattle. So that feels a little cheap, but they're fine. I mean, it is what it is. On the left side, we've got the controls for the chair, as well as this little storage compartment where you can put, your bag of chips, let's be honest. It's okay. I feel like this could be really sort of modernized and improved in some ways. They gave me this this little folding phone stand, which is metal. It's nice. I like it. But it's not even magnetic, so that's something. It doesn't have a hole or anything in the bottom for a charging port. It could have been, really fancy-dancy, like wireless charging or something. And what I was really hoping for, even without this folding stand, was I thought there'd be like a little hole or something in the bottom of this compartment that I could run a USB cable and just plug my phone in there to put in here. But I guess it's not meant for that. I don't know. It is what it is. Okay, so this is, sort of your view that I have it set right now for when you're just sitting in the chair. Obviously, I can't get the full effect. But, the monitor is close. I would say right now it's about 16 inches away from my eyeballs. So that's pretty good. I mean, this monitor fills a lot of my vision right now. And we can improve on that with various controls. So this control right here, this sort of D-pad thing, that controls this monitor arm right there and stuff, and I guess the overall arm. So left and right moves it up and down. So you can get it pretty damn low in this position. So where there's, not a whole lot of clearance. But then, if you really want it high, it can go pretty high up. And it's like, if I lean back in the chair, like head back in the rest, this is still okay. This is still doable. It's not quite as in your face at this point, but my eyes are sort of directed to the center of the monitor at this point. Whereas if I bring it all the way down and I have my head back against the rest, and I'm leaning back, and I bring it down back to where it was, it's still workable. It's just sort of a shifting of your neck a little bit. Either way, it depends on what you're doing and what you like, so it's nice and customizable. Up and down on this little D-pad, then move it back and forward. So this is now moving it closer to my face. I don't really, I had it all the way further out because I feel like that's generally good, but it depends on the configuration of the rest of the chair you're in. You might want it this close depending on what you're doing. And we'll get to that, but it can come this. Yeah, it can come this close. And this is like a foot away from my eyes now. And if I lean forward, it's very close. This is a little too close for this position because if you're playing a game, because then you're really having to like shift your head a little bit to look side and side. But yeah. So that's that D-pad. Then we can move on to the actual controls of like the whole platform. The motors are not super fast. It does take a while to reconfigure, so it's not something you're going to want to be doing regularly. And I think another different model of this chair has the feature, but this one does not. I wish it had like presets where you could just press a button and it would go into like a reclining position with the monitor close, or in a certain spot where it's like, yes, this is gaming paradise, and then a second button to revert it to just like the default sitting position, but it is what it is. All right, so we have two other controls here. Some just like, you can't really see them, but they're just like, I don't even know what you'd call these. They're not buttons, they're levers, sort of, I guess. If you move this one, the front one, forward, that controls the footrest. So right now the footrest is in all the way up and go all the way down. It's pretty basic. Again, just sort of depends on what you're doing and what you like, so it's all the way up. Then if I move this one up, if I move this one up and down. So this controls... Hold on. Why is that? There we go. So yeah, this controls like the overall recline of the chair. And I can probably demonstrate this better if I get out. But, I mean, you can see just our angle going up and up and up. And now my feet are off the ground, so I can't actually touch the ground. So this is full recline. You can see the mouse, like, shifted. The mouse is not, it's not able to stay in position at this recline. So this is pretty good. I mean, this is not as far customizable as we can go, but this with your sort of feet up, I mean, you're in a reclining position. And this is where you would start to maybe move the monitor up a little bit so it's more in line with just your default eye level. I mean, you're starting to get into gaming paradise here. Especially, I think the recline, like full recline and everything, I think is really great with a controller. Primarily with the mouse and with the mouse and keyboard, you're sort of fighting gravity. You're starting to fight gravity with the mouse, which is not great. So I wouldn't really tend to go in this position for if I was playing like a first-person shooter or something. But with a controller, you know, you can just swing the tray out. You're sitting here with your controller. I mean, it's about as good as it can get, really. It's sort of like lying in bed with a TV just on the ceiling, sort of, but even better because it's at the perfect angle for your eyesight. So that's that. And then we have the second knob. So this really controls the recline of the chair. So now we can go even further up. This is the max recline. And I mean, now it's like, yeah, you would not really use a mouse and keyboard in this position, I feel. The only way you would is if, like, the keyboard tray was at a level position and didn't recline with you. If it was level, then it would work fine. But since it reclines with you, it's at an angle and it doesn't really work. So I would never, only if I was using controller, which, plenty of games use controllers. Let me see. Oh, we can get a little bit more recline. Yeah, and then you can mess with the monitor a little bit. I don't think I'd actually want it that far up. You'd probably want it like here. Yeah, like right here, and then move it in. And so then it's like you're playing with a controller, the monitor fills your vision, you're in a full reclining. This is controller gaming paradise right here. This is very hard to beat. Very hard to beat this. But, this is not what I would do for just normal mouse and keyboard gaming or when I'm just sitting here like browsing the web or whatever, stuff like that. So let's revert to more normal position. I will admit, when you're just getting into the chair, it doesn't really feel like anything. But when you're working the motor and you're like reclining and moving the monitor in and stuff, it definitely feels like WALL-E. You feel like the people in WALL-E. All right. Let me just see what's... Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much good. I mean, maybe I'm still a little reclined, but it's overall pretty good. Yeah. All right. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I guess that's about all there is to say about the motors. The chair itself, pretty damn comfortable. I used it for most of yesterday. I mean, a good number of hours, and there was no discomfort or anything, so it's a great chair. I don't really have much complaints about all that. I did have to buy these actual, like, wrist rests for, right here, because this edge is just, like, sharp, not sharp metal, but it's just metal. It's bare metal. And I've never used a wrist rest before in my life. I probably should have. It takes a little getting used to. So I'm going to have to keep on keeping on. But yeah, I felt that was kind of necessary because it was digging in a little bit. What else? We also have overhead lights. There you go. They get decently bright, but I'm not sure. There seems to be some sort of, I don't know if it's a power saving measure or what, but like every minute or so they blink off. When they're powered on like that. So I don't know what that is, but it's not just a constant blast of light. But it's nice to have, just having an overhead light that's dimmable like that is very handy sometimes. So that's good. There's also, there's also RGB, of course, because it's a gaming chair. Oh, before I get out, there's built-in speakers on the chair. I thought they didn't work at first. I don't know what I did wrong. And I was worried I was going to have to hook up my normal speakers, which I don't know where I would put them on this chair. Behind me or something. But no, the speakers do work. They're not fantastic or anything, but they're okay. I have really good headphones for when I'm actually gaming or recording or whatever. But for just speakers to have when I'm like watching a YouTube video while eating or something like that, they're fine. Let me just put on some Nickelback. There you go. I don't know how well this comes across. So this is this is full volume on Spotify, and I think it's full volume. No, not quite. Okay, so I recently bought a new DAC. So this is at 78% volume. The speakers just come... There's a few grills there behind the headrest. So it's like right behind your ears. Yeah, there we go. So the actual volume control for the speakers, for the speakers themselves, is unfortunately inside of the back panel. It's inside of the back, so you'd have to get a Torx screwdriver, and get in there, remove the back panel to adjust it. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just put it at a nice like mid-high volume and just leave it there. I never need it that loud. When am I ever going to need it that loud for just the little speakers? It's just not necessary. So, I can turn it up a little bit with the DAC, I guess. There. That's max volume we've got. But that's plenty loud. So it's just nice to have. I don't have to worry about actually having a speaker configuration that's overkill or anything like that. I've just got these nice speakers behind my ears that let me watch, YouTube videos. Okay, so that's that. That's all good. And then last thing is the RGB. So we have two separate remotes here. Most of the time this is going to be off because what do I really care? But for the purposes of the video, I'll show you. So I don't remember which one this is. Oh no, we want this one. This. There you go. So yeah, we've got RGB on the top, this bar. This has some lights in it. This has lights along the sides as well. It's got lights on the base there. It's got lights sort of lighting up the logo thing there. Along this panel. And all the way down the back that will never get seen. So there you go. And the remote, of course, lets you change the color however you want. So that's that. And then you can set, your different cycles so that it cycles through different colors and blah, blah, blah. You can change the brightness. It's garish. This is gamer extreme kind of stuff. I don't really care for it. I don't need blinking lights around me when I'm playing Cataclysm. So, yeah, most of the time it's going to be off. But, you know, if I had people coming over to look at it or check it out, like, yeah, I'm cranking it up to max for the full experience. And then we have probably the most useless, ridiculous feature on the whole thing, which is filled with useless, ridiculous features. And that's the starlit sky above your head, which is right here. So this is also just an RPG. Why did I just blank? RGB. I'm sorry. This is also just an RGB panel. You can change the color. You can set it, the brightness, and you can set the blinking patterns and things. So that's that. Oh, and then this. I don't know what this is. I think this corresponds with these lights. Maybe this is part of the auto off features. I don't know. So there it's on. Maybe this is... I have no idea. And I don't think this is labeled. And even if it was, it would probably be in Chinese. So, yeah. I mean, there you go. With the starlit sky, the RGB blaring, the overhead lights. I mean, it's a spectacle, baby. I think that's everything I need to say in this video. Oh, there's also massage built in. But from someone that has an actual massage chair, that, you know, an expensive one that has like all the rollers and things like that, this is just kind of like a joke. It's fine, I guess, but it's just vibrational massage. It's like sticking a PlayStation controller under the chair and just putting it on vibrate for constantly. It's not really a massage in any sense. It just is a vibrator. Which is fine, I guess. I don't really plan on using it much, but it's there. It's all hooked up. There's a little remote there. It's just kind of noisy, as you'd expect. But it's there. Yeah, so I think that'll do the video.
All right. So, yeah, it's opulent, no doubt. You know, I mean, it's extravagant, it's ridiculous. It's a niche product within a niche product. I mean, it's insane. I kind of wish that it was more mainstream. Like that, you know, the costs were more reasonable. It was something that was just more elegantly designed and was more of a mainstream thing, because it is really good. I mean, for gaming, it is really good. And I think if it was a more mainstream thing and was a more competitive market and all that, it would be even better and be, you know, there'd be all sorts of competitors on the market and all sorts of stuff. But I mean, it's just, yeah, it is ridiculous, and it probably never will be mainstream, because it's always going to look ridiculous. Like it's always going to look like just some nerd fever dream. You know, it's never going to look modern and elegant and, you know, and fit into a home in any sort of way. It's always going to be like, wow, what the fuck is that thing? But I mean, I'd be lying if I said that it didn't feel a little gimmicky. I mean, because it is. I mean, it is a little gimmicky, right? But at the same time, it's just really nice. And there's nothing there's nothing exceptionally gimmicky about it. You have a chair. It's a good leather chair. I mean, that's already just basic and good. I mean, you want that. You have just a keyboard tray in front of you. Yeah, I mean, you can move it around and things like that, but when you're gaming, it's just a keyboard tray in front of you. It's like having a desk in front of you. And then you just have a monitor. that's suspended in front of your face. And I mean, yeah, plenty of people have like monitor arms where they just have, you know, it attached to their desk and it's an arm that just suspends the monitor there. It's basically the same thing, except mine's a massive monitor arm that goes over my head. But when you're just sitting here gaming, it's just a comfortable, nice setup that isn't that absurd, you know. Like one of the setups that Linus Tech Tips did, where it was like 100, like you were laying down flat, you know, and your monitor and keyboard were like vertical, and the monitors were suspended directly above your face, uh, which is catastrophic if that something fails. I mean, that's gimmicky, right? But while I'm sitting here right now, I'm basically just seated at a desk, essentially. I'm not reclined right now at all. And I have a footrest, I guess, but I mean, you can get that normally. It's just like just a nice computer setup. You know, when I was showing off in the video for like the ultimate controller setup, where you are like nice and reclined and the monitor is sort of suspended at an angle and stuff. I mean, that is a little bit more gimmicky and a little bit more nerdy, but it's still just a nice, comfortable setup. So yeah, I mean, so far I really like it. We're gonna see how it all holds up structurally, and if my feelings hold up over the coming weeks and months and stuff. Like I said, I'm not ready to give up my whole desks and throw those out or anything, just in case. But yeah, so far I just really like it. Is it worth $4,300? That's hard to say. That's hard to say. I mean, it's not like change your life kind of a setup, right? It just isn't. It's very nice, but like I said, you could have a similar setup with just a good chair, a footrest, and like a monitor arm and stuff, and just be seated at a desk. It's not quite the same because of the reclining features and stuff. But yeah, I mean, 4,300 is a lot of money. But yeah, all I can tell you is so far I really like it. So that's that. Yeah. Raymond, if I can ask, how does this microphone sound? I've recorded a couple videos and I've tried to listen back to them, but you know, it's really hard for me to tell. It sounded fine, I guess. It sounded okay to me. It didn't sound incredible compared to my last microphone. Ask again. How does this microphone sound? Oh, mic is good. Oh, that's excellent then. All right, good. Then I will continue to record videos with it. Nice, no static or breakage on my end. Well, perfect. All right, so yeah, I guess that's that. So, more Elden Ring this week. I think I just uploaded part, like, 6. Yeah, part 60. We have 20 more parts to go, so that will take probably 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks or so we'll be done with Elden Ring. And then I can start recording my next playthrough of Elden Ring. No. I think we're good with Elden Ring footage until DLC. Fallout 4 is going to continue. I think that's the longest Fallout playthrough I did. Almost certain. I will confirm once I confirm. Yeah. Okay, but that's Fallout. Yeah, 14 videos for Fallout 4, then 2 videos for Fallout 76. And then after that, I have to see if I can get Fallout Tactics working or not. Otherwise, we'll be done with Fallout. Uh, over on the Exploring series, part 2 of Eighth Commandment. Definitely check it out if you like the first part, because it's pretty weird, wild stuff. Uh, Especially if you're into like AI and any sort of AI theory and sort of philosophy and stuff like that. It's really good stuff. Um, I could have gone way more into detail discussing like different AI philosophies and like Roko's Basilisk. I almost talked about Roko's Basilisk in the video, but I decided against it, even though I do think that it probably was an inspiration for the SCP. But I mean, one of the key parts of the Roko's Basilisk thought experiment is that you're not supposed to really discuss it if you actually believe in it in any sense. So I guess not talking about it is okay. So Roko's Basilisk is basically that someday in the future there will be this singular ultimate super intelligence, this super AI that controls everything. And this super AI will know uh, which people helped bring it into creation and which people didn't help it bring it into creation. And so anyone that didn't help bring it into creation or didn't help it in some way will be punished by this super AI, which is, Roko's Basilisk. And so it's theorized then that you can only really be punished by it if you knowingly didn't help to bring it into creation. So if you don't know of this superintelligence existence whatsoever, you can't be punished for not helping it because you didn't even know about it. Whereas if you know about it and then chose not to help bring it into creation, then this superintelligence will eventually punish you once it does become created. So that's why people that really subscribe to this whole theory and philosophy say, don't fucking talk about Roko's Basilisk, because then you're subjecting people to this inevitable punishment, because most likely, anyone that hears about this is not going to help bring it into creation, because, what am I going to do? But now that I know about it, and I'm choosing to not do everything to bring it into creation, the Basilisk will eventually punish me. And there's loads more that people have all done into, talking about the philosophy of this and thinking about it and all sort of stuff like that. And it's all very fascinating. And I'm sure I simplified it way more than it actually is, but that's, I think, the basic concept. And now that you know about it, you're going to continue eating your lunch and watching the stream. Well, there you go. Life will go on. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if this superintelligence does come into creation, it'll be long after I die. So I don't know if it's capable of punishing me after death. I mean, yes, it's like an all-powerful super AI. Maybe it can bring me back to life just to punish me for not bringing it into creation. I mean, it's crazy stuff. But anyways, yeah, so that's Roko's Basilisk. So if you're into that sort of, all this sort of philosophy and theories and stuff, this SCP is really cool. I'm surprised there isn't an SCP that is just Roko's Basilisk, but I don't know. That would be cool. Anyways, so yeah, that SCP is this week. I think next week SCP is going to be... Not bird SCPs. No. SCP-5322. Oh yeah, it's more of a tale. I even mentioned that on the Patreon poll. It's gonna be a real easy week for me then, because it's mostly just me reading like audio logs. Perfect. Yeah, that'll be a nice little, not a lengthy SCP. This will be like 20 minutes maybe. I'm surprised I even put it on the polls, but there it is. Alright, so that's that. I hope everyone has a great 4th of July, whether it's a cause of celebration or it's just a normal Monday. I hope it's a great day either way. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg, and I will see you fine folks next week.